Welcome to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP, in association with TheLibertyBeacon.com, and I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. Really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show! Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Constitutionalist Politics Podcast. It's going, I say this all the time. This is going to be a different episode. Well, I keep saying that, so I guess it's the rule rather than the exception now that it's weird and different. It's just the way I am. But our youth is kind of the question and focus of this show. I've had on, or will have on, depending on how these air, Huck of Zoomers to Boomers show, and I've had on Christopher Armstrong, who's also not yet 18. So I think it's important. The question is, are indoctrination factories, are our children getting some real world or only all delusional fantasy? So this is kind of another exploration and experiment thereof. Welcome to the show. And I didn't think to ask before I hit record. Am I getting it right? Is it Larietta?
Very close, Larietta.
Larietta, okay. And her son, Reed. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you both here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and for the benefit of the audio, as well as the behind-the-scenes video, if you're looking online, you see Reed in a baseball hoodie, but we were discussing before I hit record, he wanted his flag shirt or flag suit kind of like mine, but there's a whole story of how it got accidentally locked in a car and they couldn't get it. Right. You never know what's going to happen these days. As they say, bleep happens, right?
Yes.
Right, Ariana?
Just have to roll with it, I guess.
Exactly. And just kind of as a setup, we know each other through Chenille, singer-songwriter, whose the show will have aired by the time this does air. I'm airing her at Christmas because we talk a little about Christmas music there. But so I'm, well, before, how did you meet her? Tell us about you. I mean, where, born, raised, where, living where now? Don't give me your street address. We don't want to dox you. but I think you know what I mean.
Well, I was born at UK in Lexington, Kentucky, and I had to spend 5 months in the NICU when I was born. And now I live in Corbin, Kentucky. And when I was 2.5 years old, I had a kidney transplant, and my dad was my donor. And when I was 6 years old, I had cancer twice. And the second time, the Lord just healed me without any chemo.
Well, that's great. And my audience knows I can't pass on the pun. And now with J.D. Vance being the VP, hillbilly is an acceptable term again now. But I'm looking at you, and you don't look like you have a red neck being from Kentucky.
He has the accent, though,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely hearing that, right? We all have accents. It's just that we don't think ours is weird.
Yeah.
Because we're used to it. So indeed, Ree, how did you come to know Chenille?
So that was a singing competition in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee called NAGMA, and that's where we met her at.
Became
In-
instant friends with her and her family. They're so wonderful.
Literally instant. We felt like we've known each other forever. And even that first weekend, that's how we felt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, some people there's the instant click, right? The
Yeah.
instant chemistry. It's like,
Yeah.
the Bible does not preclude, and I know this is going to upset some people and some minds will blow, but the Bible does not preclude reincarnation. So maybe y'all knew each other in another life.
Who knows? Who knows?
But you're big into presidential history is what I hear, Reed, which is really interesting to me because I have discussed the dumbing down of America through our indoctrination factories. No one in our country seems to know a darn thing about our own history, let alone someone else's. So you're a great beacon of light in the darkness to me, that you're actually interested in education, which, our own research and furthering our own knowledge rather than just accepting whatever dumb stuff they want us to peddle for a test. So what brought out your interest in history and presidents in general?
So when George H.W. Bush died, my dad came home and told my mom that he had passed away. I said, "Who's that?" He said, "Well, he was a president before." And it instantly clicked in me. Something in me just clicked, and I was all of a sudden obsessed with him.
True.
Yeah. I cried
Interesting.
for 2 days wanting to go to his funeral.
And if we had known, if we'd had any idea that he would have fallen in love with presidents and presidential history so much, we would have taken him to the public viewing. But, we've got our child that has never, been interested in presidents and is very young, crying to go to a presidential funeral. But I wish we would have known then. We would have taken it.
Yeah, it's like a switch flipped overnight, right?
For
I've
sure.
got a distant relative that back when was interested in politics, and she was kind of a local teen beauty queen, and Clinton was coming into office at that time. So she wanted to go to the inaugural ball. So it's like, well, I'm kind of on the GOP side. My connections aren't going to help you too much, but Republican senator, one of the rare we've had in my lifetime here in Michigan. I'm even forgetting his name right now, but I sadly was that inconsequent. Oh, Spencer Abraham. So I contacted him, who then contacted the Dingell's office and tried to start that ball rolling for him. Are you interested in the Trump inauguration? An inaugural ball at all?
Yes, I am. We signed up to get tickets, and we haven't heard anything yet.
We're praying that works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the list is like Santa's, right?
Yes, right.
An endless list.
Yeah.
And Trump and wherever the ball isn't the North Pole. They can't magically wave everybody in, right? Space will be limited. Yes. So you'll be disappointed, but not surprised if the invite doesn't come.
Right.
Very disappointed.
Yeah, very disappointed. But
we know it's hard. I mean, I felt like we got our names on the list of Senator McConnell's very early, but there's still, you still don't know. So we're crossing our fingers.
Yeah. Well, I'm not much of a fan of Senator Turtle, but I'm glad he's soon on his way out. But, that's a whole other ball of wax. Now, I mean, are you equally as interested in Democrat presidents? I mean, right?
oh yeah.
We're talking history here, right? You're not limited to wearing a partisan hat.
Mm. He loves
No, I love
all
all
presidents.
presidents.
And the good thing about Reed that I've always loved with presidents and with people in general, he has always had the gift of finding the good in people, and I love that. So whether it's, even if it's policies he doesn't agree on or whatever, he can still find the good in the person, and I think that's such a wonderful gift. I'm so proud of him for that.
Oh, hey, you need to listen to my shows from last year on gray areas, part 1 and part 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mother Teresa, I'm sure, wasn't perfect either, right? No one is all saint and no one is all sinner, right? I mean, even Stalin delivered electricity to majority of Russia and Russians, despite all the millions of deaths he caused. So, I mean, there's always some streak of good in those we might consider evil, and a bit of a naughty side to those we think might be goody two shoes, right?
Yep, that's right. We all carry this flesh around. It's hard.
That's right. Amen. Yeah, we are all human. We are all frail. We all have faults. No one is perfect. Never have been, never will be. And that includes Donald Trump. I am a Trump supporter.
Sure.
I am not a Trump cultist, right? And so the obvious question, I guess, then is, I mean, you're so young. How old are you actually?
I am 14 years old.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought, but I figured I should ask rather than, the assumption thing. You're 14, but I'm sure you know that saying about assuming. At any rate, even at your young age, having studied them, I'm not going to ask your favorite, but who are some of your most favorite and least favorite presidents?
Well, I love Jimmy Carter, and because he is a Sunday school teacher, he really cares about the American people, and I also love Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump because of their policies, and just want to make this country better, yeah.
Yeah, how about
And then
Yeah.
my least favorite is Warren G. Harding because of his he wrote love letters to another lady while in his office, and he built a closet to hide his women when his wife would come into the office.
Yeah, well, let's not get started on JFK and Bill Clinton then. But it's an issue here. I talk all the time on this show. Principles, not personalities. Now, Martin Luther King Jr., content of character, our character does matter, but we're not electing a saint president, we're electing a president. And the need to separate and distinction between the person and the acts, like Carter, yeah, great person, well-intentioned person, complete babbling idiot buffoon when it comes to policy, at least in my opinion. And get Bill Clinton, a very nice guy, but again, I am not for commie fasci soci's blend politics, in my opinion. Do you have a stand? Do you consider yourself liberal, conservative?
I'm conservative.
That's what I expected. That's what I thought. But some people might be scratching their head with you mentioning Jimmy Carter. But again, it's a distinction between the person, their intention, despite their failings.
Yeah. And he's been very blessed to get to know the Carter family. And so he has become really good friends with them, and they're just wonderful people. And we just love the people that they are. And just pure people with, like you said, just good intentions. And so you have to love people like that. So,
Yeah. Well, but as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? We've got to have ruled by our head, not our heart. We have to have a heart. We have to have feelings. But the Bible has pointed out our current politics many times. A fool's hand, a fool's heart is at his left hand, whereas a wise man is at his right. So the left right paradigm of today and the difference between, I'm sure you've probably never heard this, let me put it forward to you, I talk it all the time. Biblical community, it's free will. We are to want to be our brother's keeper versus communism, which is a bastardization of the Bible and community, which is by force and theft. We are to be judged, and we can't be judged if we're not given the opportunity through community to indeed be good to one another. If there's a system that's forcing us to pretend to be good to one another. Does that make sense to you, Reed?
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there's been, over the years, we've all seen a really big change in the Democratic Party. When I was young, even when President Carter was in office, but when I was young,
whole different thing. Yeah,
it was a whole different thing, and it was two good parties. It was just different, different views, different ways to get there. But
they both at least seem to care about the country.
Sure.
As to almost the extreme differences now.
Yeah, and I think that back then, we just had such similar, like I said, they were such similar desires for the country, and it has changed. But the Democrats from that time period, I feel a lot of those, are a lot different than the ones today. That the views have really taken a turn.
Well, a clear indication of that is when Reagan did take office, he only had control of the Senate, GOP control 2 of his 8 years, never had control of the House. Tip O'Neill was the Speaker of the House then. There were Democrats then at least willing to work with Reagan to some degree. They blocked a lot of his stuff, of course. They still played partisan politics, but they knew he had a mandate based on the election, and they met him part way. Whereas today, the commie-fasci sociocrats, as I call them, it's no, 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 no. Trump could have won all 50 states, and they would still attempt to filibuster in the Senate anything and everything he wants because of that difference. They are just, it seems like there is an American party, and that's the reason why the word republic is in the name. Republicans wanting to save and preserve the Judeo-Christian foundations of our republic, as opposed to the left now just seemingly being anti-everything Western culture.
Yeah, I think anytime we veer away from the Bible and what our country was founded on, we're in trouble.
Yeah, Reed, can you expound upon your thoughts on that? And again, we got to have feelings. Compassion is important, but you can't let it override your head. Logic and reason have to prevail. Throwing money at a problem doesn't necessarily mean fixing the problem. Yes, Reed?
But yeah, I agree with my mom, and the book of Revelations is basically coming out to us in this world on what's going on.
You got to go. I'm not meaning to tease past shows, but I speak with Christopher Armstrong Stevenson, another young person. It seems like a lot of our youth is seeing this, and the concern is Revelation's really unfolding. Is the end really nigh this time, right? There have always been through all time people saying, oh, the end is nigh, right? The world's coming to an end. But boy, we sure seem to see it now. And the show I did with Christopher Armstrong Stevens, we got into Revelations with him too.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that our younger generation, it seems, I've got an article on thelibertybeacon.com. Let the left keep pushing. They're causing a generational shift. And Reed, you're another perfect example of that. The further they push, the more destructive they are rather than trying to lift people up, the more they're pushing our younger people. Our younger people see it, whereas people my age, I'm in my 60s, just refuse to take the blinders off their eyes.
True.
For the record, they're shaking their head yes, up and down.
Sorry,
right?
yes. Yes. Yeah, we agree. Yes.
Pretend like it's a court. Let the record reflect. So let me ask, since you've got the baseball hoodie on, for those, for the benefit of the transcript, not seeing on behind the scenes, yes, he has a hoodie on with a baseball diamond. Do you play baseball?
No.
No? Are you a big baseball fan?
Okay.
Or it just happens to be the hoodie?
Frank about the hoodie. I thought it was a pretty color blue. So the truth is revealed. Yeah, Reed would not have picked this hoodie out, I will have to say. He did play a little sports when he was young, but he is more into he's a musician, he's a singer, and of course he's the presidential expert. Those are his areas that he loves so much. So he's not a sports fan, but like I said, his mama loved that color blue.
Yeah, well, of course, physical activity, even if it's just soccer, running around kicking a ball and nothing scores, it's still beneficial, right? We need the physical activity, especially these days with the reason why RFK is going to be HHS secretary, all the processed foods and fats and unnatural ingredients in our foods needing to be cleaned up that aren't allowed by law in like Europe, but
very interesting.
They're not dying over there. They're doing just fine with all these fancy colorings and ingredients on the package that is like, what word is that? Is that Klingon? So what kind of music do you like, Reed? What's your do you have a favorite artist or a couple?
My favorite artist.
Well, aside from Chenille, of course.
Right. Of course. My favorite artist is Loretta Lynn, and my favorite songwriter is Dottie Rambo.
Interesting. Yeah, I think, I don't recall, my memory isn't always that great these days, but I think in the show I'll be speaking with Chenille around Christmas time, we talked Loretta Lynn, or maybe it was with Luann Hunt. It was one of the many country artists I speak with Michael Stover Management Group, who is Chenille is with. I'm telling him I need to cut down on all the singer-songwriters I'm having, but it seems like every other week I get a press release from them about a song. It's like Richard Lynch, God and Trump song he did because of cancel culture and all that, and the feedback. It's like, well, I gotta talk to him.
Right. You have to do it.
So they keep doing all these artists. It's like, this isn't the country and western show, but some might think it is.
Oh, I love it.
So country is kind of, your favorite genre?
Yeah, old time country and old time gospel. That's all I listen to.
Oh, okay. I like everything A to Z. My father was Thaddeus M. Leonard Jr., aka Ted Leonard Jr. and the Polka Kings. Do you like polka music at all?
I don't think I've ever listened to that.
Yeah, he's probably not into that. He's like a 90-year-old man in a 14-year-old body. So literally, when he says old time gospel and old time country, he means like stuff written like 80 to 100 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Well, it's not of major importance, but yeah, tell you my mostly Polish background that gives away. But I'm also part Italian, part German heritage. What is your lineage?
Let's see.
Yeah, it's yeah, kind of contradicts a little bit. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Kind of a mutt, or
Yeah, like my dad is German background, and then like my mom has some Cherokee Indian in her, and I don't know about your dad. So it's an interesting mix, Cherokee Indian and
think
German.
Dad is.
Do you remember? I don't really know.
I don't know.
yeah, that's interesting. My ex-wife, part descendancy from Blackfeet tribe, Blackfoot, Blackfeet.
Okay.
Depending on who you talk to, they will either call it Blackfoot or Blackfeet, right? So, yeah, I mean, we are the most diverse country on the planet, despite all this DEI garbage, which is identity politics and putting an emphasis on skin tone and heritage rather than focusing on we are the most diverse nation on the planet. We are a melting pot, right? Read E pluribus unum. It means what? I'm sure you know. Uh-oh, did I put you on the spot? E pluribus unum. From many, one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
See, I know you know that. I put you on the spot and kind of threw you off. So I apologize for doing that. That was my fault, not yours.
Oh, it was
But indeed, the melting pot, we don't appropriate other cultures. We blend into our own unique culture, right? That's why your background matters a little. I mean, I don't want to have us all let go of our heritage and prior culture because they help make up who we are, but we are Americans, right? There's too much division, wouldn't you say, Reed?
Yeah. And a quote that I really love, Ronald Reagan said, he said, you can live, let's see, what was the quote?
I put you on the spot again.
You can live in France, but you can't become French. You can live in Germany, but you can't become German. But you can live in America and become American.
Ooh, good one.
Amen. I agree.
And I love that quote.
Wholeheartedly, right. Yeah. No matter where you're born, if you truly want to yearn for a better life and become part of, as Reagan said, our shining city on a hill and freedom's only hope and last option to maintain it anywhere here or around the world, where are we going to go? The moon or Mars, right? We lose freedom here. It's gone from the planet forever, most likely, right, Reed?
Yeah, I agree.
And it's so wonderful to be able to talk to a young person who can grasp these concepts as opposed to, the stereotypical Gen Zer, and I joke. It's just a joke, right? We have Gen X, Gen Z. There was no official Gen Y, but I joke X, Y, Z, as in Y why are you here? You're worthless.
Oh, goodness.
It's just a joke, right?
Sure.
Again, Martin Luther King Jr., right? Read content of character. We are individuals, not part of the group, no matter how much leftists want to group us into collectives.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, I think we can wrap it up here. Do you have any final thoughts, Reed, you want to share? Again, I put you on the spot.
Plans?
Yes.
What your future plans is and when and
all right. So I of course want to be a commander-in-chief one day. That's my goal because I just want to reunite everyone and make this country as best as it can be. But for that, I want to become mayor of my city, Corbin, Kentucky, and then become the governor of Kentucky. And
good places to start. Yeah.
And see what we have from there, then definitely become president.
What year?
Yeah.
1948.
We've got a goal then. Mark it on the calendar. Read 2048, huh? do you have a vice president in mind yet?
Not yet.
Oh, but it's so funny. He's always thinking about it because, like, the past few years, someone will come to his mind. He's like, that one may be a good choice one day. So he's always scouting out for a good future VP.
Yeah, but a whole 2 decades still to come. It's like I always say, what was 2 election cycles ago may not be the most important thing this election cycle, and this election cycle will be completely different than 2026, 28, 32, 36, 48. But it's good that you have good lower goals. I would suggest perhaps rather than necessarily going for mayor right away, try getting on your city council as your initial step.
Sure.
Yeah.
That way you get in and start to deal with the inner workings of the city without having that full responsibility yet. Learn the levers of government, because despite what we think we know about civics, even though it isn't taught in schools anymore, there is the way things are supposed to work. And then sadly, sometimes the way they actually do work, which is not so good.
Good advice, though. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Larietta. And Reed. And that's REED, right?
Yes.
Oh, I meant to read as in like a saxophone read. I meant to what instrument do you play?
Well, I play the piano. I've been playing piano for about 5 years. I've been playing the omnichord for about 4 years. The guitar for 2 years. Auto harp since April. And I'm still learning the mandolin, and I started learning that since June.
Interesting. Since you know the piano, I know my dad, R.I.P. Dad. And do you know who Weird Al Yankovic is? No.
No.
He's the guy that does a bunch of parody songs. He also plays the accordion, though, too. He does some original polkas. So my dad and him would want you to learn the accordion now, too.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've definitely thought about
it. All right. Well, thank you both. Take care. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for having tuned in for Constitutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via terrorstrikes.info/shop. Be sure to check out more about today's discussion at thelibertybeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you, as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help. I am Joseph M. Leonard, the host of Constitutionalist Politics Podcast. Hoping you will tune in every weekend. Also hoping you will watch for the companion Constitutionalist Politics book, Politics from a Christian-based U.S. constitutionalist perspective. Thank you all. Take care. God bless.